I'm from Australia, if you can't tell by the accent, and it's nice and it's actually cloudy today. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. So what's the time where you are right now? I know that it's 7 p.m. for a lot of our viewers in the USA. And let me know where you're from. So Celia is here today. Again, she's my trusty helper, letting me know what's happening in the comments because I am trying to multitask and do lots of things at once. And say hello to Marty, give him a thumbs up. He's my husband behind the camera right there. There's the thumbs up. So give him a wave, say hello, and let us know. Look, this is what we're going to be doing today. I have got these beautiful jute placemats. We're going to be creating some lovely stenciled placemats. And I got these in Australia. I got them from our local Kmart for like $5 or something like that. But we do have a supply list coming to you very soon. If it's not ready yet, it'll be linked. So don't you worry, you won't miss out on all the supplies. And you can get these on Amazon at my affiliate link there that you'll find in the supply list. So we're going to be creating these with some of our brand new Essential Stencils, brand new Christmas stencil sets. Now guys, I had a stressful situation this week because I left it a little bit long to order my Christmas stencils and I wanted to so much do a live for Essential using their Christmas collection, the brand new Christmas collection. If you haven't heard about it already, there's some really amazing stencils in that collection. Anyway, I was stressing because I'm in Australia. So there's a long little flight for those stencils to get over here. And I was following the tracking, and on Friday it was still in Hong Kong or Singapore by Saturday. And finally on Monday I received word that it was in Brisbane and it was coming my way. What are we up to? Are we Tuesday today? So it did arrive yesterday afternoon. I finally got the message, they've arrived. So I'm so relieved because I did have a plan B, but I wanted to use the Christmas stencils. Surely no one's decorated for Christmas already. Let us know if you actually have decorated for Christmas already. We don't until November 1st-ish, maybe. But what? Celia's telling me. Well, I think it could be even earlier this year. When do you decorate for Christmas?
Usually December 1st is my earliest.
I know, it used to be like that. That was a traditional kind of a thing, wasn't it?
Depends on how old your kids are. One day before Christmas works.
Yeah? Oh, come on. Where's your Christmas spirit? All right, so here's one that we've done earlier, the hot cocoa. I'll show you what's in the stencil packs. So we've got a set of 3 here that are the Holiday Sweets Set. So I'll be using these today. Now don't go anywhere because at the end of our live, if you've been here long enough, you'll know that we give away prizes. And Celia's got that wonderful job of picking prize winners today. Have we got any interesting places that people are tuning in from there, Celia?
They're all foreign to me. Delaware, Missouri, Kansas, Michigan, Kansas, Iowa.
Those are USA states.
Ohio.
I'm just letting you know.
West Virginia,
and cities.
Illinois. And happy Thanksgiving Day to Canadians.
Yes, that's right. Is that today or was it
today.
on Sunday?
Well, that's what they say.
Oh, that's lovely.
Alabama,
Happy Thanksgiving
Florida.
to all our Canadian friends. I have lots of friends in Canada that I've only acquired since being in a part of the blogging world, and you meet so many people from all over the place over the internet, so it's amazing. So in our holiday, what is it called? Holiday Sweets Set. It's all about the sweets because Christmas is all about the sweets, right? We've got candy canes, 2 miles, gingerbread, cookies, cakes and bread, baked fresh daily, and the hot cocoa one that I showed you that I practiced on last night just so I could get stenciling down. I'd never stenciled on jute before. It was kind of tricky. So let me tell you, but you could use this for any placemat idea. Seriously, it'll be fun. The next set I wanted to show you is the Farmhouse Christmas Set, and Essential Stencil will be choosing from these 2 sets today to give and send 3 lucky prize winners. So they'll be chosen randomly from the comments. So here's the first one, Farm Fresh Christmas Trees. That'll be lovely. Let me just move these down here. You can have a look at those. Now I don't know how many placemats we'll get done today, but we'll have a good go at doing a whole bunch. Don't forget, in every Essential Stencil pack you will get a little brochure that tells you exactly how to do your stenciling. So take that and use the instructions, because that's what they're there for. Then sleigh rides. Now this is something that we don't do in Australia, riding sleighs, especially where I'm from, because there ain't no snow here in Queensland, I'm telling you now.
Our sleighs go down the grassy hills.
Yeah,
when
well,
it's wet enough to have grass.
yes. And the other one is Farmhouse Christmas. So isn't that just so sweet? So I do have 6 placemats that I bought to do our stencils on. So I'll get through as many as I can today during the live, and stay tuned. So I've already done the hot cocoa one. Let's do gingerbread, shall we? And I'll do this up this way, so it's not upside down for you. We've got some trusty painter's tape that will just make sure our stencil's in the right position. And they will, Essential Stencil will post a link for this Christmas collection. They're taking pre-orders now. So get your pre-orders in. And I think they're going to be sent out by about October 28th, I want to say, something like that. But they'll let you know in the comments, or there'll be a link for a percentage off. I believe it's 15% off. Correct. So, yeah, 15. Yeah, you need to put the code in, right? Pre-order 15 to get that 15% off. But use the link that will be posted either at the top in the title or in the comments, one of the top comments. So I think I've got that a little bit crooked. Let me see. Thinking gingerbread thoughts. Have you ever made gingerbread? Anybody? I'm going to go with some white. Have you made gingerbread?
We make like a triple batch every
really?
Christmas, December, because my eldest daughter loves it.
Yeah.
We don't even have to ice them. They just disappear very quickly. And we don't decorate the day after Thanksgiving like all these American people do.
Oh, yeah, because we don't have Thanksgiving over here. So, yeah, I know for Americans, a lot of people will stop, well, they'll do the fall decor, decorate for Thanksgiving, and then they have permission to do the Christmas decorating. So, but here we don't have that, so we can just decorate as soon as we feel like that it's Christmassy time. And you're one who's like, yeah, forget about decorating until like December 1st. I'm like, yeah, I'm like what's that movie, Elf? Yep. Christmas! You know that scene? Yep. Someone will type that in the GIFs. I know there's a GIF of Elf. If you're a fan of Christmas, find that GIF and just put that in their comments there, right there.
I think they should make a GIF out of you doing that.
Well, you could. All right, so I'll just show you what I did for my hot cocoa one. What I did was I used the white as a shadow. So we're going to show you that shadowing technique. If you've seen any of my lives here on Essential Stencil or over on my YouTube channel, you can check out more tutorials that I've got there on painting furniture or on stenciling. But I found the white didn't stand out very much on the jute. Just for the text to be able to read what the letters are actually saying. So I'm doing this a little bit differently than I would if I was just doing it on a smooth surface, because this is quite knobbly, it's fibrous, and you want to get that paint right down in on the fibres. So what I'm doing is I've used a tiny bit on the end of my brush. If you've never seen me do stenciling before, you're probably wondering, what's she got that rubber band on the end of her brush for? Well, I love to use my Klingon brushes for painting furniture, and I've found that they're one of the best types of stencil brushes that I like to use, but I just make the bristles a bit shorter so that they're a little bit stiffer and it's not so flexible. So if I don't have it on, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to describe that. It's kind of like all over the place, but when I have them stiff, it's more like a stencil brush. So what I've done is I've put a little bit of paint on there, not too much, less is more, and I'm smooshing it down into the fibres. Now normally if I'm just doing this, a stencil on a sign or on a piece of furniture, I wouldn't smoosh it so far down in. I'd just do a little smooth swirling action, but I'm really trying to get the paint down in there. And so I was a little bit worried at first when my white letters were not legible. I couldn't read what the letters were saying. But as you can see, we created over here, I thought, well, I'll just use those white letters as a shadow background to some black letters, and the black turned out a lot better. If you've got any questions, let me know in the comments. Do we have some Christmas lovers, or are there people just still?
Yes.
Okay.
We love Christmas, and
Yay.
we love rubber bands on paintbrushes.
Have you tried that now? The rubber bands on the paintbrushes?
There's a few of those.
If you've got a favourite brush, I don't see why not just use it for all purposes. And I really love the Klingon brushes. They've got synthetic bristles with a tapered end. Each bristle is tapered at the end, so it just gives it a really lovely smooth finish when you're working with furniture especially. Okay, I'm going to do the shadow over here on this little stripy bit.
And you're not using ink, are you?
No, I'm using paint. I'm using Fusion Mineral Paint, which is a furniture paint. And this is the colour Casement, which is one of their widest whites. See, there's not much error of bleed through in this example, I feel. Oh, there goes my rubber band. So when you're stenciling, you'll know that you can get a bit of bleed through. I mean, if I did have a lot of paint on this brush, I probably still would worry about that. But with the jute being so fibrous and it's a bit lumpy, I'm just making every effort to get it in there. But it is possible, ladies and gentlemen. And these little placemats were such a cheap find.
Somebody did ask if you've stenciled on fabric, and I know lots of people on Essential Stencil have done things on fabric.
Yes, I have. And if you check back through the lives, right here on the Essential Stencil page, when you're finished watching today, of course, you can go to my one that I used, the buffalo check and deer head. And so that comes in a set with the buffalo check and the deer head. And I show you how to do that on a cushion. And so it was just an IKEA cushion. I think the brand was Gurli, G-U-R-L-I, from IKEA. And yeah, I do a lot of stenciling on fabric. I've stenciled t-shirts before. And I just usually do a hot iron, make sure it's a dry iron, not one with steam on it, on the reverse side of your fabric, just to set, it heat sets that in. You could use a hairdryer or something like that as well to heat set the paint in, but the Fusion Mineral Paint works great on that. So we're using.
And how long did it take for the stencils to arrive from the US?
Oh, that's a great question. I think I ordered them on the 7th. I reckon about 7 days. What's today, the 14th? Yeah, so yesterday, so yeah, about a week. So that was pretty good, I thought. And even if you're from Australia here, if you've got any Aussie people on there yet, said hello. If you're from Australia, we can order and still get that 10% off if you use my I Restore Stuff code, but that's only if you're doing it on the other things other than the Christmas Essential Stencils. This brand new set, and there's even some bonuses on there too. So if you go to that link, you'll be able to see what you can order. Sorry, I interrupted a thought. Anyone from Australia?
Nobody's saying
Not
they're
yet.
from Aussie yet.
Wave your little Aussie flag if you're from Australia. All right, so I just wanted to show you this really quickly. I'm going to lift this up here and show you how you really can't see the writing. And it looks like a massive fail, doesn't it? I mean, look at that. I can't see any of that. But that's exactly what it was like over here on my hot cocoa stencil. So I want to show you how we can just use this mistake. There's no mistakes in DIY and crafting, is there? Really? It's art,
Never.
people. So we just always make something up. We wing it a little. So what I did for my hot cocoa one, when I saw that as I practiced last night after going, oh, I'm doing a live tomorrow on jute. Never done it on jute before. Let's just have a go. And I got to this part and went, oh, okay, what am I going to do now? But thought said, let's do this, Sharon. Okay, so what I'm going to do is shift this slightly to create a shadow. That's another thing I've shown on one of my other lives here on Essential Stencil. You can go back through the lives and have a look at, I think it's my autumn stencil, which was the Hello Autumn, great big signboard, front porch board. And I showed you how to do a shadow. So you can look at that, or I'll show you right now. So what we want to do is just shift the stencil slightly from, you can either go up and across. So on this one, here's the hot cocoa one. Let me show you that as an example. So where I had painted the white, I just shifted it up and slightly, or yeah, up and slightly to the left or right. What is that when I'm facing your direction? Up and left. So then I stenciled the black. So I will do that. And it's really kind of hard to see. I can line it up with my gingerbread men here at the end. They're a little bit easier to find. So I'm going to go up and slightly to one side. And then I put my tape firmly in place, and let's see how this works out. So I'm going to grab my coal black now.
Coal black.
Yes.
Coal black's awesome. And hello, Heather from the Gold Coast.
Oh,
Woo,
yay,
woo.
Heather. We have an Aussie.
Oi, oi.
Waving your Aussie flag. Yay, Gold Coast. That's not far from where I am. So I'm in Logan, which is just south of Brisbane, but it's about an hour for us to drive to the Gold Coast.
Rebecca asked, how do you fill in the bridges, or is it difficult to fill in the bridges? And I've got to admit,
I
I'm
don't
not
actually
sure.
fill in the bridges, but if you can see on the hot cocoa stencil, I haven't filled in those. And you're talking about the little bridges, so I'll show you here if people don't know what she's referring to, is these are the bridges here that actually hold that centerpiece of the stencil in place. So if we didn't have those little bridges there, we wouldn't have the O, and it would all just be looking like a great big circle blob. So we've got the little bridge there that's holding those letters in place, even here. And on the H, you'll see that there. Now, I can be honest, and I really can't, I don't think that they distract from the stencil at all. In fact, it looks like just a really filled word, except for maybe just a tiny part there on the hot cocoa. And so that's not a problem for me at all. But if you wanted to fill in that, you can get a really teeny tiny paintbrush and just fill those little bridges in if you prefer. Like if you're working on a signboard, you may want to do that. Or if you're doing black, you could fill it in with a Sharpie. That may be easier as well. So once again, tied the rubber band around here, just using a tiny dollop. Really, you don't need a lot of paint on the end of your brush. When you're stenciling, less is more. So remember, we've done the white, and I'm making a shadow. I'll just go ahead and do the gingerbread here. And remember, we're working with jute today, which is a raw material, and the way that it's woven together makes it quite fibrous and lumpy. So it takes a little bit extra work to get down, right down into the grooves of the letters.
And do you always use the light colour as the shadow?
No,
first?
I don't always do that. Sometimes I'll use the darker colour as the shadow. But like I was saying, I was thinking, oh, I'll do some white, completely all white stencils, and I'll do some that are all black for the placemats. But when I did that white in just the small letters and just had a little peek underneath, I saw, wow, that's not going to be legible. You're not really going to be able to read what that says. So I decided to use that white as my shadow. But yeah, you can use any colours whatsoever, as long as the two colours that you use, the one for the shadow and the one for the actual stencil, are contrasting colours. So digging that in a bit further. So this is a little bit different than what I would use, how my technique for using it on just signboards. Has anyone got the Christmas stencils yet? Why don't you comment in the comments if you've gotten one or more of the Christmas stencil collection. Give us a little shout out and tell us which ones you ordered and what you're doing with them. I'd love to hear some of those ideas. Has anyone done this idea yet? Placemats. Made some signs.
Some people have. Some people's just got all the little ones and they're waiting for the big ones to come.
The big ones to come.
Exciting.
Okay, great. That's exciting. The pre-orders should be sent out sort of October, end of October. So that will be exciting. Actually, yeah, you wouldn't have made anything with them probably because they haven't been sent out yet. What will you make with them? That's the question.
Can I make some more comments about Thanksgiving and Christmas? It's a hot topic on the comments.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
We don't officially celebrate Thanksgiving, but many of the Australian people do have friends in the USA, and so we might have our own kind of Thanksgiving meal anyway. And I know my family and another group of friends, we've gotten together for the last 5 or 6 years doing Thanksgiving and had lots of fun with it. We do. We just be thankful for life and everything.
Absolutely. And the reason we don't is because if you think about what the story of Thanksgiving, where it originated, originated in America, and so it's part of your history. So we have our own little different other cultural celebrations that are completely different. But my husband's from America, so we have family there, and so we often, it's been a while since I've made a pumpkin pie though, hasn't it, honey? Are you craving something now, like pecan pie? Yes. What would you like for Thanksgiving this year, Marty? Should we celebrate things? The other weird thing is, because it's not a public holiday here in Australia, we have tried in the past to celebrate Thanksgiving on the particular Thursday that it falls on. And for everyone else here, it's a work day. And so it's kind of like, okay, rush home from work, have a dinner, turkey, pumpkin pie. And it's just a bit of a rush. So it's really an odd thing. It doesn't feel like Thanksgiving here in Australia, even when you are partly American. So, yeah. I hope all the Canadians have enjoyed their weekend off and didn't work too hard on their Thanksgiving weekend. How many days do they get off in Canada for Thanksgiving? Is it just the one, or do they have a couple? I'd love to know.
Do we have a bird in the house?
Probably.
Kim thought she heard one.
Oh yeah, there's birds outside. I just kind of ignore them because they're always there, but there are probably some Australian native birds around. We do have lorikeets, and because it's a rainy day today, you can hear them getting excited about the rain because it hasn't rained here for a very long time. I just wanted to show you here that now I've done that, the black. I just want to show you, first of all, where we're up to. We'll have a little sneak peek. There's the gingerbread. See how that is much more standing out much more than the white letters, but let's just go over those white letters now as we've created the shadow. Remember, we moved it up and slightly to the left, and now I'm going to go over those letters for the black, with the black, and hopefully they'll stand out a bit more, like the example on our hot cross. No, not hot cross buns, hot cocoa. Oh my goodness, did you see, I saw someone post here in Australia, Celia, in Coles, which is one of our supermarket chains here in Australia, they posted a picture of hot cross buns.
No way.
I'm not even kidding. It's not even Christmas yet, and they had hot cross buns in the store. Now, probably Americans don't even have hot cross buns, so you wouldn't have a clue what we're talking about.
You need hot cross buns
for
Thanksgiving.
It's an Easter tradition to have hot cross buns here in Australia. And they're just beautiful cinnamon bun kind of breads with a little cross on it to remind you of Jesus died on the cross, celebrating Easter. And anyway, so they don't usually come out in the stores until after Christmas. You know how things are just getting in the stores earlier and earlier each season? I could not believe it's not even nowhere even near Christmas.
Ridiculous to have it this time. Like, I still think it's crazy that we've got Christmas decorations in the store already. Yeah,
This is true.
A bit early. Now, 2 questions.
Yes.
One lady, Shannon, says, wonder if my paint is so thin because is too thin because she's had lots of bleeds lately.
Yeah, okay. That could be a point. What sort of paint, depending on what sort of paint she's using, I suppose. I'm using a furniture paint, which is usually a little bit thicker. Well, chalk paint usually is a bit thicker. This is different than chalk paint. It's a mineral paint, acrylic-based resin. But maybe it is just slightly a bit more textured than, or thicker than the craft type paints. But experiment with different paints. I would just suggest trying it with get a different paint, different type of paint, and try it with something else. But really, a lot of the bleed through issues can be prevented with just having so much less on your brush. So start with wiping and drying your brush. As you can notice, every time I dip it in, I wipe off the edge, splattering black paint on my table, and then I'll come over here and I'll dry off the brush till there's hardly any left on it. Then I stencil. So where was I up to? Here. And so smushing that in to try and get that right into the jute that's under here, because we're stenciling on a gnarly fabric. But there's all sorts of fabric placemats out today that you could have a go at using these. I can imagine some beautiful red ones for Christmas with stenciled black and white stencils on them. Would be lovely. So we're using what's it called? The Holiday Sweets Set at the moment on this placemat.
And do we celebrate Halloween? Not really. Some people do, some don't. It's growing.
It's kind of more an American thing as well. But you guys really know how to decorate your houses for all the different seasons, I tell you. I love going through Pinterest and Instagram and checking out people's beautiful decor and decorations for all of the different seasons. And your fireplace mantles, I mean, we don't have a fireplace because we're in Queensland and it's hot pretty much all year round. We have probably 3 days of winter maybe, well 3 weeks if we're lucky.
Yeah, about that in Brisbane.
Where we are up here. But down south it gets colder because we're on the southern hemisphere, so the further south you go, the colder it gets because you're closer to the Antarctica. Yeah, the South Pole.
Antarctic, yep.
It's a geography lesson here, guys. 101, right here on Essential Stencil.
That's it. Do you ever use a top coat to seal the paint on Fusion?
No, it has a built-in top coat, so with Fusion you don't need to put a top coat on it. It is optional though. Some people prefer to, when you're doing it on furniture, some people prefer to use a top coat for things like tables where it's going to be knocked about, or chairs that are getting a bit more wear on them. So, yeah, you can use their tough coat sealer for that.
And how do you clean up your stencils?
Yeah, good question. Sometimes I'm really not, don't zoom in on me because the stencil police will come and get me. The stencil cleaning police. No, I'm really not good at cleaning my stencils, but I try. Because I use Fusion mineral paint, it's really strong paint on furniture. That's my excuse and I'm sticking to it. And it dries super fast like chalk paint does. So, but look at this, guys. I used this last night. Are you proud of me? I even used, what I did first was I used a baby wipe. Now, a lot of people tell me that they use baby wipes and they go like this. Watch, it just comes right off. This is a demo. And it does. I see them and it comes right off, but it did not come off for me because my paint had dried. I did it super quick. I did it right away afterwards. Anyway, so what I did was I ran it under cold water and just gave it a light scrub with my green scourer, nothing metal. Tried not to scratch up the surface too much, but I probably have. But anyway, there's my nice clean stencil, but the rest of the time they probably will look a little like this. Okay, I'm ready to do the big reveal to see how that's going or gone. So now we can see those words a little bit more clearly, don't you think? Baked fresh daily. So you can kind of see a little shadow effect happening there. Cookies, cakes and bread. Oh, well that's cool. I like that one. Guys, this is so much fun. We're going to have a whole bunch of place settings all ready for Christmas. The other thing that you can get from Essential Christmas collection are these gorgeous. I meant to show you these ones too. Merry Christmas. They're kind of like tags and I can't wait to show you. I've got another idea for these for a live coming up, but I'll talk about that later maybe, or I'll show you what I might do next week. All right, let's try one of these Farmhouse Christmas things. And I promise I'll try my best and wash that off. Do we have other people giving great big nice hints for me to clean my stencils?
Like Lysol ideas? Wipes.
Lysol wipes, okay.
And like bleach wipes.
Oh, bleach wipes, right.
Oil with baby wipes. Okay. I just think it's Fusion paint. It holds so well.
I know, probably.
It's not easy to get off.
Okay, what about a Farmhouse Christmas? Do you think we should try some red? I wasn't going to, but...
Yeah.
Okay, we'll have to go and get the red paint. Excuse me just a second. I'm off to get my red paint.
Hi. I'll just do a little dance over here.
Yeah, right. I've got Cranberry. That's a fun one.
There you go.
Cranberry, but now... Okay, so Fusion's so good that it holds on really tight. I'll show you a top tip. I can't do it on the table. I might have to do it. I'll do a flat surface. Oh, there's another fun stencil available for their Christmas set. Okay, here's a flat surface. Tip it upside down. It really will not budge, even with my handy thing. Bang it once, really hard, down on a flat surface, and look at that, magic. I know. There's your top tip. Another handy top tip for you right here. Okay, so this is Cranberry. Now, having never done it on this colour before, I'm going to do that first just to see. I want to see how well I can read the words when that happens. I think I might do red for some bits and what do you think? Black for around the framing and farmhouse. Got some more questions there for us?
Okay, somebody says they used chalk. They chalked on top of Fusion and it messed up.
Oh, they put chalk paint on top of Fusion paint.
I gather.
I'd have to probably figure out some more specifics about how they did that. Or what? Maybe there was some people do put, instead of a top coat on top of Fusion, they might opt to have a wax on top of it. So maybe the wax could have been resisting for that next coat of chalk paint. So you kind of got to make sure you prep a surface well because you don't know what's on it. If you've got grunge and grime on the back of a chair, then you've got to clean that off because otherwise the paint, it'll literally stick to anything, but the paint is going to be sticking to the grease and not the wood surface or the painted surface underneath. So there's a few tips for prepping which are really important. Hang on, what am I doing? Red. So you want to make sure your surface is clean first of all, and then I just give it a light scuff sand especially if it's a glossy type of surface. I'll give my furniture a scuff sand and then clean, wipe it off and paint away, and you're usually fine with that. I'm going to get some new painter's tape because that one feels like it's getting older. Yeah.
And is Fusion good for the outdoors?
It's not made for the outdoors, but a lot of people have used it on their outdoor furniture through Canadian winters, mind you, and it's still lasting years later. So it is, I think it's okay for outdoors, but they will tell you they haven't made it for that purpose, but other people have used it successfully outdoors. So.
And is thick paint better than typical acrylic paint?
For stenciling, you think?
Yep.
I don't know. I really haven't used a lot of... This is still an acrylic paint, so I think just experiment and find what you feel is best, like especially with brushes and things like that too. You'll want to just try different things and see how you like them and what works best for you. So my little rubber band trick works best for me, so I keep using that. There you go, we just paint over the price of land in the local newspaper. I don't know, I have a feeling this red is going to be quite translucent. We'll try it on the Christmas, and if it doesn't work as a red, it can be the shadow, right? That's my plan B. It's like that dark black, or even say the dark grey colours will really stand out a lot more for the jute, just because it's really hard to get those fine, sharp lines because the fabric is sort of so lumpy. It was a great idea, a great thought at the time, but it is proving to be a little bit more tricky. But what other fabrics are there, or placemats that have you seen in the stores lately that might be a fun fabric to paint on? Let me know in the comments what you've seen, what's on trend. Or what do you like, more importantly? Doesn't have to be on trend, does it? I just want to have a little peek after I've done this H here, just to see. I'm just wiggling the brush down into the grooves of that jute. Gonna have a peek. Oh, it's not too bad, guys. I'm liking the look of that. All right, we will continue. Feeling a little more confident now. Okay. So doing some tapping, doing some smushing. Those are official words in my stenciling technique vocabulary.
Do you think makeup sponges would work on the jute?
On the jute, I really don't know. And I'm not sure because you're trying to push. So I feel like the bristles will work better to push down into the jute, all the fibres. That's just my thing, but again, try it. Try out a few different things. And when you're trying things out, you could even, this does have a reverse side because it's got a hem right here, so you can see what's the front and what's the back. You could try a little bit on the reverse side if you wanted to, if you weren't too worried about that. There we go. This is going to be great. Farmhouse Christmas. Who else loves farmhouse style?
And on a sisal rug.
Oh,
That's
yeah?
a good suggestion.
Yep.
Mm.
I've done a jute rug, stenciled a huge floor rug before with just random industrial stencils. That's a fun one. It's on my YouTube channel somewhere. And it was just a jute rug that was sort of getting some stains on it, some, other little things were going on. I thought instead of throwing it out, we can always recycle things these days, and I love to be able to do that instead of having things going to landfill, damaging our environment. I feel like it's always good to try and see if we can utilise them in other ways. So I painted it and stenciled it. Came up a treat.
Cranberry or Fort York Red fusion?
This one is, someone knows their fusion colours. This is Cranberry. And Fort York Red is the other red, which is a more vibrant, brilliant red. Where have we got that? I'll show you the difference. There's the difference between the two colours. So we've got Cranberry that we're using today, and there's Fort York Red there, which would also be a lovely Christmas colour.
And will you have to seal these, and will they be washable? I think these are the kind you hang on the line and hose.
Yeah, probably. I would still wash it, but I would be careful though. I'd probably just try and spot clean it. The only thing is, because it's cotton, I would wonder if it might shrink or something. I don't know, if it doesn't have any instructions, I don't think, on the other side. You know how they sometimes have those. You just have to kind of see if you can follow their instructions for. But as far as the stencil goes, I think I might just seal them with a hot iron or a hairdryer to just seal the paint in. Do that later. Yeah, I'm really excited about this one. I like the bit of splash of colour for Christmas. Another colour that would pair well with this Cranberry is the Bayberry green. Let me see if I can find that. It's down there under my sign. There we go. That and the Cranberry go nicely together for just some more muted Christmas colours rather than the bright red and green. Maybe I should try that Bayberry on these little holly leaves, huh? What do you think? I didn't put these in the supply list, but the supply list does have the fusion paint on it. So if you do want that list, they will have it ready for you, and you can just type in list and hopefully it'll come to your inbox. I think I'm going to grab that, Celia. Do the Bayberry.
Ooh,
leaves.
That sounds like a good plan.
But the berries should be red, right?
Yeah. Maybe with a splash of yellow, but red. And somebody says the ones on the table, the mats on the table, did you shadow paint them? Yes.
Yeah, so if you want to, you can watch the replay to see how I shadowed these ones with the words at the background, and the hot cocoa one. I'll show you how to do that in the beginning. All right, so I still need to do that red. So what I've got to do is just hide the little holly berries so that I don't paint over the top of them. That's going to be tricky. There we go. Oop.
And did you mention the list? Because some people are asking where to get fusion paint from.
Yes, so if you type in the list in the comments, Essential Stencil will send you the whole supply list of all the things that I've been using today, and you'll find links there for any of those. So at the fusion link, you'll be able to find any of their colours, hopefully. Okay, going to get that red berries on there.
And Diana's a bit late and just saying, is fusion paint a special kind of paint?
It's a furniture paint. Who was that? Diane?
Yep, Diana. Sorry.
Thanks, Diana. Yeah, fusion's a furniture paint. It's made for furniture, but you can use it on all sorts of things. I've used it on fabric, you can use it on metal, use it on glass. All right, so now I'm going to cover over the berries so I can do the holly leaves green. It's a bit tricky. Have I got it the right shape? Oh dear. Might just have to do a bit at a time. Because that one's, oh, there we go. Let's just bend it over like that. How about that? Okay, we've got Cranberry and Bayberry, so I didn't add these ones onto the supply list. And if you've just joined, this is my little trick I use to just make my put a rubber band on to make the brush a little stiffer. So I can use it for stenciling, because I usually use these beautiful Klingon brushes for furniture. So if you're a furniture painter, these are really great for doing that. All right, holly leaves going down on the jute fabric. So I'm smushing it in. And I'm watching the time because my husband, the cameraman, has to take off to the airport very soon. Thank you. You're welcome, babe. I'm going as fast as I can. All right, that colour's done. And now I'm going to go back to the black because I just want to do this farmhouse edge around here. Don't forget, because we are promoting the beautiful Christmas stencil range, that you can get them on pre-order today using the links that Essential Stencil will post in the live, or they have already probably posted them in the comments. And there's prize winners today. They're going to be choosing from one of these sets to send 3 people prizes, those stencil sets. So Celia, you've got that job. I hope you're looking at names there.
Oh, I am.
And you're ready to pick out some.
Working
She's
hard.
on the hunt. She's working hard. Okay.
Keeping up with comments and questions and hoping I'm covering them all.
Well, I'm so glad that you're doing that, because seriously, I'd have to be doing that at the same time. And I know the other girls who do lives on here are amazing at that. They're amazing multitaskers. All right, Farmhouse.
So Fusion is a brand name,
Yes,
and
Fusion Mineral
Fusion
Paint.
is ordered from.
The link will be in the supply list, but it's just Fusion Mineral Paint. If you Google fusionmineralpaint.com or type that in, you'll find it.
And the mats came from.
These mats they'll be on the supply list as well. You can get them off Amazon. I bought them at our local Kmart, but because I'm in Australia, they don't have the same things at your Kmart that they do at mine. So I just used an Amazon affiliate link in my supply list so that you can find it easily, but you may find them in other places too. So just type in the word list and you'll be sent that supply list to your inbox. It's so handy, and I love the way Essential Stencil does that. It just makes it really super easy for everybody to find all of the things that we're working on, especially the Essentials Christmas package. There's even a front porch sign. I think someone's done a live on that already. Whoops.
And the question from Joyce, can you clean the stencil the same as if you used acrylic paints? Sure,
Yes,
you can.
you can, because it's all water-based paints, usually the acrylic paints are. I don't like using oil-based for anything really, because it's just a bit messy. The cleanup's messy and it just stains longer, but yeah, they're all water-based. You just can take them off with warm soapy water, or lots of people use wet wipes to do that with. If you've just joined us for the replay, thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned because we're about to give out some prizes soon. Oh, don't want to get my red letter black, so I'm just going to pop a little tape on that, make sure it doesn't get caught up.
Would you do this the same way? Would you stencil the same way on pillowcases and dish towels?
Yeah, I've just done a cushion cover on Essentials Live a couple of weeks ago. It was using their buffalo check and deer head stencil, and you do it the same way, but I am actually putting a lot more pressure using my brush this time, because I need to get right down into those fibres, because the jute is quite rough. But I love to just live on the edge and go, hey, let's do a live using jute and see how it goes. I did practice last night and then I got a bit scared, but it's turning out okay. So far so good, and at least I could give you my tips of where I went wrong. But yeah, you do need to have a little bit extra pressure. And remember, as I was saying in the beginning, using dark colours really stands out a lot better on the jute than the white. So as you remember, I painted white letters over on this gingerbread one and also on my hot cocoa one. And I ended up using the white as a shadow because the letters weren't standing out very well, so did that. All right, I think we're nearly done.
Someone loves us so much they're recording the voice and watching you.
Oh my goodness,
come
that's crazy.
on.
All right,
That's
big
so
reveal.
good.
Let's see how we went. Yes, I love it. And I love those dark, deep red colours, you know, this cranberry and bayberry, as opposed to something that's more bright. It just really suits that farmhouse style, I think. So I am going to continue with these lovely stencils, and I've got 6 placemats. But because my husband has to go to the airport, we have to say goodbye. But before we do, we're going to get some prize winners. So Celia, who have we got as winners today? And don't forget, we'll contact you. Essential Stencil will contact you to get you your prize. But if you hear your name, just give us a little yoo-hoo, that's me, in the comments, and we'll be excited for you.
Okay.
Who's the first one?
First one is Laurie Colazzo.
Laurie Colazzo. Hope we said your name right.
Kristen Anna, no way I can pronounce this, Saenuidsdottin.
But good on you for picking a hard one, because a lot of people probably wouldn't pick a hard name to say, but you've spelled it out. Kristen Anna, last name starting with S. That's you.
That's
You're a
it.
winner. So we've got
And
2 winners. And who's the
Heather
other one?
Brown.
Heather Brown.
Woohoo!
You are our winners today of, and I'm not sure which they're going to send you, so it'll be a surprise, of one of Essential Stencil's Christmas collection prizes. So if you missed where I'm from I Restore, the blog, I Restore Stuff. I'm from literally Australia, and I blog about all sorts of furniture makeovers and all that kind of things using the furniture paints. Did you have something that you needed to finish with? Oh, I thought you were going to say something. So thank you so much for watching today. You can join me over on I Restore Stuff page for all the rest of the hints and tips on furniture painting. Thank you so much for watching our Essential Stencil live today. Don't forget to get to the link in the comments for your 15% off the Christmas collection, pre-ordering today. Also, what was I going to say? Can't remember. Have a lovely Thanksgiving, Canadians, and I'll see you next week for another live. Bye. Here are the finished stencils around farmhouse table. Hot cocoa, gingerbread. Those are the 3 sweet stencils in the Christmas collection. And here are the Farmhouse Christmas Stencil sleigh rides, Farmhouse Christmas, and Farm Fresh Christmas trees.